The table of presence. The object. Opposite the lampstand in the holy place was the table of presence, the lechem panim. This table was made of acacia wood, overlaid with gold like the bronze altar. Poles could be inserted into its ornamental rings for easy transport. More literally translated as the bread of the face, this table, in addition to bowls and basins, held 12 loaves of bread positioned in the face or the presence of holy God. What it taught. Bread, especially the manna that maintained their bodies in the wilderness, was the essential food staple of the Israelites. The people had bread in their tents, which God had provided for them. So too, God had bread in His tent, which He again offered to them for more than physical reasons. Meals are not eaten with enemies, but with family and friends. The bread cakes represented the fellowship that God wished to have with all 12 tribes of Israel. Every Sabbath, the loaves infused with the presence and holiness of God were eaten by the priests and then replaced with fresh loaves. They regularly ingested sanctification on behalf of the people as a reminder that God was the one who forgave their sins, made them holy, and restored a lasting peace. How it pointed to Christ. The bread of the face pointed forward to the future and better bread of life, Jesus, who said, "I am the living bread, which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world." In Jesus, we find true life now and always. This bread of presence was also a foretaste of the fellowship meal of the sacrament of the Lord's Supper that believers now eat. Jesus instituted this meal before He died, saying, "Take, eat. This is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me." Receiving bread and wine filled with the presence of Christ, those who trust in Jesus too ingest God's holiness gifted in body, blood, bread, and wine for the forgiveness of sins and fellowship with God. Lessons for today. Modern believers too are blessed by a restored fellowship with God as they receive Christ's body and blood in the Lord's Supper. Each time a believer receives the sacrament, they remember Jesus' body and blood given and shed to forgive their sins and restore peace and fellowship with God. When believers wait, empty-handed to receive, they know that there is nothing they have done or can do to make themselves right with God. Instead, they know that Jesus has done everything necessary for them to be made right with God. In the sacrament, God says, "This is how much I love you. Go in peace." Nourished, physically and spiritually, the priests were empowered and emboldened to continue their service for the people in the tabernacle. Let's follow them to the next object, at the back of the holy place.